And as far as, non-hardcore fans, quote-unquote UFC fans, differentiate between UFC fans and MMA fans, if you will. Nobody that Fyodor beats is going to be as credible as the guys in the UFC right now. Maybe if Randy Couture hadn't lost a few now and he showed up, that would mean something. But other than that, the Brett Rogers thing will be okay, but shit, for all I know, Fyodor's going to lose to Brett Rogers, which would just be hilarious. And I'll be there live right here in the great state of Illinois at the Sears Center. I scant 20 minutes from my home. My home, sweet home Chicago. But no, I don't think there's anything they can do to really quote-unquote, legitimize. Obviously, I should say, there's no heavyweight out there that he can beat that will make people go, waha. Now, he can just go out there and they can say, this is the greatest heavyweight on the planet. He will murder everyone we put in front of us. And if he goes out there and murders everyone they put in front of him, he will be considered the greatest heavyweight on the planet then. He will be credible, at least. People may wonder, and they can talk it, they can hype it up and be like, look, you see that Rodrigo Nogueira guy? The guy that's kicking ass in the UFC? The guy that just demolished and ran over Randy Couture like it was nothing? Yeah. Our boy, Fyodor, he made Nogueira look like he was nothing. And Mirko Cro Cop, when he was in his prime, when the UFC's bragging about how great Cro Cop used to be, yeah, that Cro Cop, he was beat by Fyodor. And Tim Sylvia, yeah, it took Randy Couture 25 minutes to beat him. Fyodor beat him in like 30 seconds. Andrei Arlovsky, former UFC heavyweight champion, one punch and Fyodor drops him, knocks him out. They can hype it that way, but I don't think there's anybody in the UFC right now, I should say not in the UFC right now, that Fyodor can fight and beat that will make people go, wow, this guy really is better than the UFC champion. God, I thought Brock was the best. But no, it's really Fyodor. Again, unless Randy leaves, because I think a win over Randy, depending on how he did it, if he went out there and blitzed Randy in 30 seconds, again, they'd be going, it took Brock Lesnar a round and a half to beat Randy. It took Nogueira 3 rounds in a decision to beat Randy, and our boy beat him in 30 seconds. Something like that could maybe work. But until something like that happens, and I don't think it will, Fyodor will just be, he'll be as relevant and as credible as they can hype him to be, but it won't be anybody from the UFC that he can beat. Do you think that the decision to co-promote with M1 diminishes Scott Coker's reputation as a promoter? Scott Coker being the promoter of Strikeforce. And do you think that relationship will ultimately lead to the demise of Strikeforce? I don't know. I don't know the particulars. I know that M1 wants half the money. Who knows what they're really getting out of there? Does it hurt Scott Coker's reputation? I don't think so. It's a kind of deal where if I'm Scott Coker, I'm making that deal. If I'm the UFC, Dana White, Joe Silva, I'm not. Sometimes when you're in second place and you're trying to catch up with the big dogs, sometimes you got to take a chance. And this is it's a chance, They're getting in bed with wacky, crazy people. The Russians are. Vadim Finkelstein is probably as crazy and corrupt as Vadim Finkelstein sounds. Doesn't mean Fyodor's not a great fighter or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But Scott Coker did what he had to do. Will it be the death of Strikeforce? No. I think that if Strikeforce dies, the death of Strikeforce, I don't even know if it's fair to say anything would be the death of it so much as the inevitability of Strikeforce dying. Because Strikeforce has survived for a long time as a semi-regional promotion in Northern California. At some level, maybe. Scott Coker's always been really good at staying in the black. But, look, last year we saw Frank Shamrock lose his luster. We saw Kung Lee's now retired. So 2 of the guys that basically Strikeforce was built around were gone, or are gone right now. They have to develop new stars. There's no guarantee that any of those new stars are going to catch on. If they want to play national, the decision to sign with Showtime and CBS now and go and try to be an actual number 2 promotion as opposed to just a promotion that's out there who happens to be number 2. To me, there's a difference between trying to be number 2, challenging for number 1, or just trying to be a solid number 2 and being the de facto number 2. Because if you're trying to be number 2, you have to spend money to do that. And so, again, Showtime's probably kicking into some of this. I was going to say Univision, whoever the fuck the parent company is of Showtime and CBS. They're obviously kicking in some money for Fyodor's contract, and I imagine some of these other M1 guys. But I don't think it would be the decision to sign Fyodor or co-promote with M1 so much as it would be the decision to try to go national that would give you problems. And so getting in bed with the devil, Vadim, would, realistically, it's just a byproduct of the decision to go national, which honestly is probably something they had to do. You have to shit or get off the pot eventually. He probably could not sustain himself at the levels he was at in Northern California, which was this not minor leagues, but not really major leagues, kind of always just getting by. You eventually got to go for that brass ring, or you got to stop playing the game. And Scott Coker made his choice, excluding both John McCarthy. Anybody else, Brett? Who do you think is the best referee in MMA today? My answer has always been Yves Levine. I think Yves Levine is a fantastic referee. Herb Dean's actually very excellent as well. A little quick on the stoppages, but Yves Levine, I've really he makes a mistake here and there, but he's one of the better referees, one of the best referees, I should say, out there. Obviously, Big John, he's the biggest name, but he's earned that name. And Big John's a quality referee who, if I was fighting, I would be like, I want that dude to protect my life. He will give you just enough rope to hang yourself, but he does not let you commit suicide. You will not pull a Carradine if Big John's refereeing your fight. What a horrible, it's not even funny. But Yves Levine, I think, is excellent. Herb Dean is excellent. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad referees out there. Steve Mazzagatti, everybody knows. I think Dan Mergliata, time and again, has proven himself to be kind of an incompetent referee. I just don't think he's that good. Steve Mazzagatti, we just said, Mario Yamasaki, he's all right. He'll do an okay job here and there. But, yeah, I mean, to me, it's Yves Levine. I think I really respect his judgment. He's proven to be a pretty quality referee. And more often than not, I give him the benefit of the doubt over anybody. So Yves Levine, Brett, is the answer to your question. By the way, everybody, you're listening to 5-Star Radio right here at Figure4Online.com. If you like what you're listening to, sign up right now. Give it a chance. There's $10 for 1 month, and you will get this show. You'll get all the columns I write, although I think those are actually free. You will get the Adam and Mike Audio Nightmare. For a while now, you're going to get the Tough Talk MMA program with fantastic guests from around the world. You're going to get Figure 4 Daily 5 times a week with Brian Alvarez and various guests, everywhere from Lance Storm to Lance Russell. I don't know if Lance Russell's even live. I don't know if he's been on the show. You're going to get the Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave Meltzer and his brilliant insight. And that's not sarcastic. I mean, the guy's really, truly brilliant. You're going to get the Carl Stern Show, Dragon King, the podcast, with Carl Stern, one of the preeminent wrestling historians on the globe today. You're going to get the Dragon King newsletter, Carl Stern's newsletter every once in a while. You're going to get the Figure 4 weekly newsletter, which nobody reads. You're going to get the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the preeminent source for MMA and pro wrestling news, notes, information, insider access on the planet. For $10 a month, plus you also get the board. The greatest message board, bar none. They're crazy. They're probably making fun of me right now for doing this. They're probably laughing at, I don't know what the fuck there is in this background here. But they're laughing at me right now. They're poking fun at me. They're going to probably do some sort of a screen cap of this and make me look like an ass, like I'm having sex with a man. I go, but they're good people, and it's good fun. It's $10 a month. I know it's a hard economy, a down economy. Hard economy? Porn star economy? I don't know. But the point is that I know that your hard-earned dollars are truly, truly hard-earned at this time. But it's totally worth it. Plus, it pays my bills, so join the damn site. Who was a worse regular referee in major MMA events? Steve Mazzagatti or Dan Mergliata? Well, I just answered that. I'm psychic. I should probably do some more research and read all the questions before I start the show. Who are your favorite and least favorite MMA commentators? Well, my least favorite MMA commentator right now is Gus Johnson. I know that's sacrilege for some people, but I cannot stand Gus Johnson. He speaks with an air of authority in his voice when he clearly does not understand that product. His over-the-top celebrations are just that, over-the-top. Sometimes it'll be okay, but by and large, Gus Johnson is the guy who jumps out of it. I just don't like the guy. Just don't care for him. As far as the best announcer, I mean, Joe Rogan's phenomenal. I think that was the first phenomenal, everybody. The first phenomenal. Bas Rutten in his prime is great. Stephen Quadros, friend of mine, great guy. But Frank Mir, I think, in many respects, he gets a lot of publicity lately, but the guy's awesome. He's really good at explaining things. I think he does an excellent job of giving insight and analysis into the sport, with the exception of his Miguel Torres commentary during the Takeya Mizugaki fight back in April, right here in Chicago, Illinois. But when he was just like the most ridiculously one-sided and biased man I've ever